So hi everyone, this is going to Elephanta Island, and the green you can see there, that is the Elephanta Island, guys. So brief history of Elephanta Island. There is one warrior king named Pulakes II of the Chalukyas of Badami dynasty is attributed with commissioning of a significant portion of the caves. The Elephanta Island came under the dominions of at least half a dozen powers that ruled this region over the centuries 400 BC to the modern times. That include the Mauryas of Konkan, Trikotakas, Chalukyas of Badami, Silaharas, Rashtrakutas, Kalyani Chalukyas, Yadavas of the Ugari, Shahi dynasty of Gujarat, the Portuguese, the Marathas, and also the British, and the island was called Garapuri. The caves of Shiva were mostly likely executed during the mid-6th century during the Konkan Mauryas period. Being a major ancient trade gateway, it is also likely that its patrons were the Ritsa trade merchant guilds than any particular king. Even before the Hindu caves were excavated, the island was a Buddhist center. The remains of the Buddhist stupas in Elephanta probably belongs to the early phase of Buddhism during 2nd century BC. During the early colonial period, the clusters of islands that eventually became the modern-day Mumbai was under Portuguese control. Apart from the natural causes, a great deal of damage to the sculptures in Elephanta is attributed to the Portuguese soldiers. It was recorded by many European travelers. The vandalism caused to the caves during this period. The sculpture panels were used for shooting practices. For the bulk of the panels, the lower sections were destroyed, faces disfigured. They did everything possible to break that massive elephant that once stood on the shore. In fact, the Portuguese gave the name Elephanta to this island thanks to the sculpture. Otherwise, the island was called Garapuri, or the Island of Caves. This finally collapsed in 1814. The British moved it to the mainland and assembled at the Victoria Garden in Mumbai. In 1540, a large inscribed stone at the entry point of the island was taken to Portuguese by the Portuguese Viceroy João de Castro, allegedly for the epigraphical decipherment of inscriptions written on it. This stone went untraceable. Gone with it is a very valuable piece of historic artifact that could throw some light on the circumstance led to the execution of these caves, and more importantly, who were its patrons. In 1661, the cluster of islands that formed Mumbai came to the British Crown as dowry of the marriage treaty of Charles II of England and Catherine Braganza, daughter of King John IV of Portugal, but Elephanta was excluded. This island remains as a Portuguese outpost for some time to come. From an anti-piracy and military standpoint, the island remained a strategic point, especially when Mumbai was gradually made into a busy port city in the subsequent centuries. You can still see a few cannon outposts at a place called the Cannon Hills in Elephanta Island. So the earliest conservation efforts is dated to 1890 under the Bombay Public Works Department. So guys, this is all about the history of Elephanta Island under in some so many dynasties, guys. So as you can see, guys, that the forest over there that you can see, that is the Elephanta Island, guys, and we are going there. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a great